Welcome back to The Birth of Reason. I'm Belle Hahn, and I'm so excited today to be talking about Judi Weisbart's second piece, The World Summit for Children. And children are a huge important part of my mission and have always been since I was a little girl. And I'm really honored and excited to introduce this young artist that is all about children and their childlike magic. Sapphire Adizes, who's a composer and a musician and an amazing entrepreneur. His music is being played on the sax for this particular show, but he has a wide range of instruments that he plays. And he's also extremely connected to the understanding of how music can transform a child and how powerful it is to allow a child to be who he or she is and to let that music play on.
Children can only have a future if they are given a better today.
Hi, it's Judi Weisbart again. I am really excited to be with you and to talk to you about the first piece actually in the World Series, the first piece that I ever made. So this piece is called The World Summit for Children. And it was actually about the United Nations in, believe it or not, 1995. So at the time, the United Nations needed monies for children's programming. I think one of my most interesting parts of that was understanding oral rehydration therapy, ORT. Oral rehydration therapy has saved more human beings on the planet than anything else, than every immunization, every drink of milk. All of it's irrelevant compared to oral rehydration therapy. So oral rehydration therapy for children meant that if they got diarrhea and they were given water with a little salt and a little sugar in it, they would actually survive much higher than anything else. And they were stopping giving the money to those programs at the UN, UNICEF in particular. And I was furious. I thought, how stupid, like why? And I guess why is because human beings make really stupid decisions about how to run a world sometimes. And I needed to say something about it. So what I did was I decided to make a piece where it was 3 stairs going up to the planet, the Earth, which was sitting on a lotus flower. And the lotus flower was to receive a world of peace. That was what I wanted children to attain. So as these children climb the stairs, they're actually climbing over little pieces of paper that come from the United Nations State of the World's Children Report for that year. So the base is the sonotube, but then I decided it needed to be lit from within. I have a lot of desire to see art being lit, but from within, not from without, because that is another way to speak. So I had a light inside the sonotube and I cut out squares. And the squares have different poems and things that were said by adults about children and how we should take care of them and protect them and teach them. I think it's also, for me, an expression of what can be, that there can be a world where children live in peace. They can be fed. Their mothers can feel that they have hope for their survival. I then went into working for an organization that did microloans in California. I worked for the betterment of children in working with food banks. It's just one thing you have to do in life. It's got to come from your heart, and you've got to know that you can change the world. We can do it. I know we can. We've been called to it. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here.
Hi, I'm Sierra Barnes, and I'm so excited to speak today with artist, musician, saxophonist, music producer, music theorist, and thought leader, Sapphire Adizes. Hi, Sapphire.
That was my inner teenager coming out right now. There, my inner teenager came out. Not when the cameras start rolling, when you just described me, so...
I mean, it's a pretty adept description. If
God.
anything, it doesn't really scratch the surface of what you do. One thing that we're trying to do on the show in general is connect different generations. So connect established artists with young people and also make sure that it's cross. So young people are teaching the older generation and the older generation is sharing their knowledge with the younger generation. And you, I think, have a really cool, charismatic vibe to you, and I think people are going to look up to you and love your music. So for young musicians that are listening and just finding their voice, what would you tell them about listening, not just to music, but the world around them?
How young? Oh, you know what? I know to answer that, actually. Let's all be quiet. Do you hear it? I want to cry, man. It's so beautiful sometimes when I listen to the music that God creates for all of us. It makes me want to cry. That's how much it touches me. The goose is not being conducted. Neither is the bird. Neither is the air conditioning fan. It's almost manic or psychotic, how deep it gets for me when I listen. Because music is there, waiting to be discovered. And behind every... I can see it. I make sure that whatever is there, I'm just helping other people hear what is already there. And like nature is this ecosystem that's a symphony that God is the conductor of, and you can literally meditate and listen to concertos whenever you want that are way better than whatever Beethoven tried to recreate in his image or Coltrane did. And what I would tell the youngest of creators, when I look at my daughter who's 6 years old and I started teaching her when she was 4 music, like my biggest advice is not to the child, it's to the educator, which is don't let them forget. Don't let, it makes me want to cry because we all came from somewhere, and that's where art comes from. And the child knows already, and then we poison the child with education. Because we live in something that's built for an industrial democracy. And the factory that kills children's divergent thinking and creativity is the sickness. And it really brings me to a brilliant Carl Jung quote, which is, whenever you discipline a child and you want to correct a child's actions, ask yourself, maybe you need to change your own. Maybe what you're trying to correct in the child is actually teaching you how to behave. Because creativity and art is inherently childlike. My studio is covered with stuffed animals. My daughter's allowed to come in whenever she wants. And the most inspired times are always after I play with her, because what is recording or what is creating art but playing in imagination land? And which is ironic because that's also psychosis, and that's also prophecy and vision. And the paradox between the three is something that can be very hard to interact with whatever is the analogous structure of the shared delusion, you know? That answers that question. So I would tell the child nothing.
Yeah, you're fine.
I would say nothing to the child, and I would encourage it to be itself around instruments, and I would study it. I actually would tell that to answer your question directly, I would say, hey, can I come over to your house and bring you some music instruments, and let's have some fun in imagination land, and can I study how you think? And I wouldn't say the last part, but that would be my Machiavellian intention to spend time with this child, would be to study how it thinks, because it knows how to make art. We forgot. And my crux of my life is that an adult male with a child and a wife who's supposed to earn money in a capitalist free market society is not supposed to be childlike. But the way that I make money is by being childlike. So I would tell the child, don't forget who you are and where you came from.
I mean, wow. What a great perspective. And I think your music and your perspective is a great example of what happens when the child does not forget and when the child goes back to source and can be playful. I love your music and I love you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Can I give you a hug?
Of course.
Thank you so much. That was that was the best interview of my life.
Oh, Sapphire, thank you.
Molly, what superpower do you already have that helps the earth or people on it?
My superpower is that I am kind and loving to others.
And to connect you now with Maggie Doyne, she is just beyond an amazing woman that Judi has met with several times now and is always blown away by her magic. She'll share with you today her story and how she ended up in Nepal running an orphanage, knowing that that was her mission. She's created a village for orphans and mothers and children. And in this space where economic development is clearly a challenge, there is support and safety that these children would have never, ever known without this organization. BlinkNow is her nonprofit, and I believe you will be truly fascinated by this woman and everything that she has to offer. She's won a CNN Hero Award and many Green Awards for her buildings. We can't wait for you to meet these amazing humans.
Hello, Maggie Doyne. I'm so excited to have you on The Birth of Reason. How are you today?
Hi, Judi. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. I'm great. It's a good day.
It's a good day. Well, it is a good day, especially a good day because I get to talk to you. And I want to talk to you, the CNN hero, the woman of the year, the one who's received magnificent awards for magnificent work. I actually want to talk to the Maggie that I find so yummy, which is this human being who truly comes from a place inside their heart to love children beyond anything else. Could you tell me a little about where you started with the work you're doing and what the past 20 years has brought you to? I know that's a lot.
I'm from New Jersey. I grew up in the suburbs. I'm one of three girls. I love children. I babysat from the time I was 11 as a mother's helper. I was a camp counselor. Fast forward into high school, I grew up in a community where everybody goes to college. I woke up one morning and was like, I don't even know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to be. I don't know what my purpose is. And I signed up for a gap year. Thousands of miles later, I was in northeastern India, and I happened to come upon the Nepali refugee and migrant community. They stole my heart. I had so many friends, and I got to see a different kind of experience, a different kind of upbringing, a different kind of existence that really opened up my eyes. And I went to Nepal with my friend in Sunita in 2005, and I've been there ever since. Because of a single moment, which was that I was walking across a dry riverbed and I saw children breaking rocks into gravel to survive. And I saw what it was like to be a victim of war, which disproportionately affects women and children. Long story short, I met my co-founder. I met an incredibly amazing community who I'm still working with 20 years. We built an organization called BlinkNow, and we work to end extreme poverty in far western Nepal.
Did you have a sense in your soul of what was really a little voice inside saying, this is who I am, this is what I want to do or be? Was there that small voice even as a child?
So I think every human being has a little voice, and a flicker and a flame and a direction and a purpose, but there is so much noise and so much distraction and so much I should do this or look at what they did. I think I did know, and I did have a voice and an inner guide, but at some point you're coming of age, there's no time for rite of passage or introspection or quiet or self-discovery. Education within the four walls of a classroom is so prescriptive. It's so about your SAT score and stocking up your resume that I had gotten lost in my coming of age and my coming into womanhood, and the gift and the privilege of travel and the community that I was in helped me tremendously to kind of come back to that voice, to know what it means to follow your heart, to know what it means to be called into action. I just encourage everybody to take those opportunities when they come, because it changed the course of my life for sure.
So I'm really interested in, now that you're in the world that you kind of saw in the twinkle of an eye, tell us a little about that world and what the work is that is going on right now in Nepal and in your village.
Yeah, so what I saw is the effects of multidimensional poverty and how it's just nearly impossible for a child to step out of that cycle, because they've experienced parental loss, homelessness, because they're forced into labor, trafficking, or early marriage, um, natural disasters. And that was frustrating to me. And I wanted to understand why. Why is it like this? Why does a 4-year-old need to work on the side of the road? And so it started by just a series of questions. And then it was building little solutions, like what happens when Hema, the little girl who said namaste, goes to school? What are the other barriers? So it was just a discovery, and the kismet of having an incredible Nepali team and my co-founder Tope, and deep listening and mutual understanding, and starting with the seed of like putting one kid into school, and then 5, and then 10, and then stepping into reinventing the model of what a children's home could be and family. And then I became an adoptive mother. And then we just built it from there on out, with robust programs and experts and a model for changing the world.
Wow, it's a pretty amazing model. I'm in awe. So I want to ask you what you feel you need right now to make the difference to that village, and how we as a world can help you create that reality.
Hmm. Well, the drivers of orphanhood that are completely unnecessary, and it comes down to investing and believing in women. Um, we have a women's center program that keeps women safe. It gives them the empowerment tools and skills that they need to get into the workforce, to then care for their children, to then end cycles of multi-generational poverty. And it works. And I think what I need from everyone tuning in is to know that it works, that we have solutions, that we have tried and true models of success around the world, not just from me, not just from BlinkNow, but from a patchwork of heroes everywhere, and global leaders, and a way forward to move into peace. So if anyone wants to follow along, support our women, support our children, support education or sustainability in Nepal, please do so. So you can support us and learn more at blinknow.org. But I think right now it's hard to find hope. And the worst thing that all of us can do is give up and just say, it's all too messed up. It's all too broken. We're not going anywhere. So I'm just going to put up a little wall around myself and care about what I can care about, and numb out on all the junk and the distraction. I think we all need to really do our part and just stay hopeful, keep the faith, know that we can create a planet that is peaceful, loving, harmonious, that is centered around the one thing we can all agree on, which is children being safe and educated and protected and treasured and nourished and loved. Wherever that is for you and whatever that looks like for every community, but we all need to work on it in our own ways, and keep doing this. So let's do this thing.
You're wonderful. Well, thank you. I love you dearly. I truly appreciate every single word that came out of your mouth, and I'm grateful, and thank you.
I love you too, Judi. Keep on keeping on, and thank you so much. Thank you, and namaste to everybody.
Namaste.
And now to introduce you to Nurit Gery, such an incredible woman, and has this mission that I shared is all about uniting the world. And so her nonprofit is called United, and she has a high school in Israel. Her intention is to bring together what seems to be separate and unite them into the whole, so that when they graduate, they can go forth and be leaders and friends in their communities and in this incredible world that we're now co-weaving in a way that's inclusive when these opportunities come about for these children of these high schools that wouldn't ever know each other in another way without this type of support and leadership from this remarkable human.
Well, hi, we're on Birth of Reason, and I am honored and thrilled to be able to introduce you all to a woman that I've known for a number of years, who Nurit is a profoundly conscious human being because she's doing something that I find remarkable in the world in Israel at a time when everyone in Israel has some issue around government, around Hamas, around so many major issues. You stand in a place that I honor and respect so much. You stand in a place of education and leadership and of peace. And I thank you. I thank you from
Thank you. Thank you, Judi.
Nurit Gery, you are quite awesome. Could you explain what you do, who you are, and let's talk about what's really important in the world, which is creating communication and connection.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. So I'm Nurit Gery. I am one of the founders and the managing director of an international school in Israel with the aim of bringing together people from around the world together with Jews and Arabs from Israel. And at times like this, as you said, Israel is going through such a terrible time. Many people come back to their bubble, close themselves, and don't want to interact with people who are different than them. And what happens then is people start seeing the other as monsters and as people who want to do things against them. And we see mistrust, we see misunderstanding, we see people become frightened of each other. We see loss of humanity, violence, hate, all these terrible things that we want to take away. So we put all these bad words aside and we're bringing hope. We built 7 years ago, we started a place that is like a miracle of sanity, a miracle of a place that brings together young people from Israel, both Jews and Arabs, and from around the world to live together, to get to know each other, to open their heart, to listen to each other, to respect each other. All these things that bring hope, that you can believe suddenly in kindness. Maybe it sounds like a cliche, but that's what it is.
You create a possibility of true understanding in the world. So I ask you at this moment as to who these children are, who their parents are, and if you can just give me some stories of hope and understanding so that those who are watching this show right now can actually identify with this place actually existing on this planet at this moment and working. Could you do that for me?
Sure. So I'll start by saying that we have many things to learn from younger people than us, from the next generation. The world that we created and that we're running now has many things that they just come innocently into a world that if we look at them, we can learn a lot. So children and young people many times come with their hearts open. What we do is we actually bring these kids who are from, at the moment at the school, we have kids from 20 different countries, and it's countries like Vietnam and Armenia and Ethiopia and Venezuela and United States and Germany. So very, very different countries, all different religions. We have Christians and Muslims and Buddhists and Jews, and they all come together, and you suddenly see that so much in common between a girl that comes from Armenia and a girl that comes from Peru that would never even think of coming together, and they have so much in common. And more so between kids who are considered to be from enemy countries or enemy populations, like Jews and Arabs in Israel. And how much do we have in common? And we grew in the same country. And actually, we both love trekking, and we both love reading, and we actually like the same books, and we like traveling to the same places, and we love camping together. And a lot of things that if we take these boxes that we were put into, we can see the beauty, and that's what these young people are doing.
So, Nurit, a question that I had in the initial question that I find as a parent to be really important for you to be able to answer, which is, yes, I want all those things for my children that you just explained, but I'm putting them at risk in a country that's really at war. Why do parents do that? And who are these amazing, hopeful parents?
So I will start by saying that we are an IB school, International Baccalaureate. It's a very well-known, highly recognized high school diploma. So there are many students around the world that want to go and have an IB diploma. And we focus on students that come from conflict zones and many times from backgrounds that financially would not allow them to go to schools. And we say, we want to give you the opportunity. These students, when they go out to life later, they are the resilient kids that will be the leaders of the world, that will go into unexpected paths. And there are enough parents in the world, apparently, that see that if I send my kid to learn how to bring kids together and how to learn about diversity and leadership in a conflict zone, their experience will be unsurpassed. We have many students who graduated from the school and sent their siblings or their cousins, and the families send more and more kids because they build trust with our staff who are putting, it's not a job for me. It's my life. This is my life. This is my fourth kid. And
you are
in that same way, sorry.
It's hard. I was just going to say, I know this to be true, that this is your life and that you have your own children who have been at risk also, because I know that your sons were in the army during much of this terrible time for you. The one thing that I really love in your understanding of human behavior and communication is that you're not just teaching them a leadership, but one of the things that I find fascinating about what you do is you teach them art and you teach them humanities, but not just to make them peace leaders, to make them whole human beings. Can you talk a little about the art and what comes out of that?
Yeah, sure. So I will say we have a few forms of our art. We have visual arts, music, and theater. Many of the students that come to the school never experienced art lessons. They did art sometimes, with their friends in the neighborhood, whatever, but they didn't really have an opportunity to go through guidance on art. And many of the students find that this is the channel that actually allows them to start expressing themselves. And it comes to life, and they have an opportunity to use a tool that many of them were not aware of before. And it's also when you talk about Jews and Arabs in Israel, and it can be angry messages, it can be hopeful messages, it can be a way to express their family and background and the village they miss, or culture things that are very important to them. We had students who drew their grandmother, for example, which was someone very important to them, or all kinds of things across cultures that, again, bring people together, because grandma is important in all cultures.
It's so true. Grandmas are. I'm so grateful to be a grandma. I also have another question for you, which kind of is an ending question, but we may continue. But the one that I really want to know is, you're doing something so heroic and amazing in the world, but you need support to do this. How do you pay for these kids to be able to go through a program like this? You're talking about Venezuelan kids that, were going through a very difficult time, or people from Nairobi, or people, these aren't wealthy children, as I understand it. So how is this paid for? Because I think
Great.
that a part of what you're doing is not just opening the minds of the youth, but you're opening the minds of humanity to the possibility that we can create an education form that actually allows youth to speak and to change the world they live in. So how do we get involved in that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for asking. And yes, definitely we need support. And the school works thanks to a lot of wonderful people that are part of the journey and part of the school. We don't see them even as the donors. We see them as friends and an important part of who we are. So over half of the budget of the school comes from the support of very generous individuals that either decide that they want to support a student to the school. Each student costs $25,000 for a year. So we have people who say, I want to know that I supported a student to go to the school. Sometimes people even connect with their student and have connection for years after. So all these students have an opportunity to actually break the glass ceiling that was put onto them because of the place they were born. And we do that thanks to all the money support that we get from very generous people.
That's wonderful. Well, hopefully people will see you and be inspired to make a difference in the world through
Thank you very much.
Giving to children who can then give back to the world. And I am grateful beyond measure. I thank you. I'm glad I can call you my friend, and I'm hoping that many more people will connect with Gavat Haviva United so that they also can feel as deeply as I do. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy, for the opportunity and for this great YouTube. And I'm very proud to be your friend and very proud to be part.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you very much.
It was so good to be with you today for our children's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you will support our incredible humans and their amazing work by going to their websites to learn more and become a volunteer, a donor, or just be inspired by the great work happening on this planet at this time. We can all make a difference, and it's truly a time for rebirth. Go to Nurit's website to learn more about the high school in Israel, and Maggie's website to learn more about the orphanage in Nepal. See you next time on The Birth of Reason. We so look forward to you joining this movement to awaken hearts and ignite change. Thank you so much.